Do I need to make this video? Is this really a video that I think you guys are gonna watch? Honestly, yes, I think you guys are gonna watch this. But not because of my answers, but because it's about the 4090. Like always, don't forget to like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store, and go get some great merch. Should you buy a 4090 is a question that I don't think I would find myself asking after looking at some of these benchmarks. And honestly, it kind of depends on where you're going from and going to, as also how much money you apparently have in your wallet burning a hole, because this thing is expensive. $1,600 a card, which is, I think, what the price was. I'm remembering that right? $1,600, got that right. Now, comparing this to last gen's 3090, which is $1,500, so it's a $100 raise, which isn't too much of a raise, I guess. And you consider almost $2,000, it's a very small percentage. Just how much of a money grab do you need, NVIDIA? $1,600 for a 4090 to have the privilege of the NVIDIA GeForce flagship. A 2.23 gigahertz base clock. Minimum required power supply is a little everywhere, with everybody being a little different. 850 has been the minimum that NVIDIA, I believe, is mostly recommending. And honestly, I'd probably get close to that if possible. I would say 850 is pretty good. I would say you might be wanting to get 1,000 or more, depending on what else you're running with it. Because let's face it, if you're going to get a $1,600 graphics card, you're getting a very good CPU. Maybe even a Threadripper. It has a snafu of CUDA cores, tensor cores. Tensor cores actually isn't too much more than like a 3090 Ti. It's only 200 more. The RT cores is almost double what is on the 4080 12 gigabyte form. Now, let's talk about benchmarks. It does kind of depend on what you're already running. I would say that if you're looking to upgrade from a 1000 series, I'd say wait. Wait for these cards to go down. Wait for the budget cards to come out, or be smarter and just get a used 3090 or a 3090 that is on sale at like a Micro Center or something for considerably cheaper than what it used to be. Because I think I saw 3090s going for like $200-300. Actually $500 lately, which is insane considering how much they cost when they first came out. I could get a 3090 right now and upgrade my 3070 Ti and give that to someone else. Am I gonna do that? No, I don't have any need to do that. My 3090 or 3090 Ti would actually be like a little angry at me if I were to put that in here, because I don't think my CPU and RAM are good enough for it. Now, if you already have a 3090 or a 3090 Ti, I'd say stick with those. For most things, there was a decent upgrade, but it wasn't enough to really consider being a meaningful upgrade, in my opinion. If you're coming from, say, a 2080, a little closer, but not really, I think you're mostly looking at the guys that still are carrying 1000s or lower end 2000 series. However, my assumption is that most of you aren't really carrying around $1,600 in extra income. I might be wrong. In the end, it comes down to what you're going to use it for. If this card is going to be doing high-end rendering, high-end gaming, with 4K gaming, 120 frames per second, it's definitely going to be able to do that. I do believe that there were some synthetic limitations they did to it, but I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I think there was like a frame rate one that they did, but I could be definitely wrong. So just bear with me on that, because there's a lot on this, but also there's just everything weird has been going on with the reviewers that I tend to watch and get my stuff from here. Because while I am a reviewer myself, I don't have $1,600 just burning a hole in my pocket for a 4090, and B, I don't have the power supply I would want to run a 4090. Nor am I really willing to get that 4090 and the cable adapters. And 3, I don't need a 4090. I have a 3070 Ti. I am perfectly fine where I am. If you're running a 2000 series, I'd say get 3000 series now. Get it now. If you're running a 1000 series, get 3000 series right now. If you're running before that, get a 3000 series right now. They are about as cheap as they're going to get. You are going to be able to get immense gains on your performance really simply. That doesn't mean I'm not saying that no one should buy the 4090. I'm just saying that there's not a lot of people that need a 4090. I will say I have been seeing a lot of YouTubers having problems with their drivers they got from NVIDIA as media drivers, because media drivers are significantly... Oh, God. Because media drivers are actually different than the drivers that you and I will see. Different performances, different bug fixes, things like that. Because the media gets it, and then they put game-ready drivers after getting all the reviews from the media. In a perfect world, the person that's going to get a 4090 is somebody that deserves to get a 4090, as in, like, they've been running a 1080 Ti or a 2080 Ti, and was there a 1080 Ti? God, there's been so many graphics cards. Yes, there was. I feel like that's a bit over. I could get a 1080 Ti right now. Still, they'd be used, obviously, at this point, but still. But I think the person that deserves to get a 4090 would be a 1080 Ti or a 2080 Ti user that still has those cards, if they have enough budget for it. Because honestly, if you're going to do a 4090, I'm very much going to push that you should get a very qualified power supply for this. You're going to get the adapters, but the adapters are only going to do so much. I would say try to make sure the power supply has enough wattage to it, and also maybe just hold off on putting it together until you can get a RTX 3.0 power supply that will just be compatible out of the get-go with this graphics card and not need an adapter, which, if anybody's seen those adapters, they're ugly. I've not seen adapters this ugly before. It's 4 cables to 1, and I think that means you have to have 3 of those. I got really confused. I could be explaining this wrong entirely. I look tiny. Am I not close enough? That's better. If you're running a 3090, 3090 Ti, 3080 Ti, or really any of the 3000 series already except for like a 3060, I'm saying you're pretty good. 3060 is only because 3060 was the budget option. If you can afford a 4090, go for it, brother. But I have a feeling that that's not your main concern. You're not looking at an upgrade right now. You're very happy where you are. And most of us are. Most of us that have 3000 series are very happy. Most of us that have 2000 series are very happy. The ones that probably are looking at like they need to get new cards are the ones with the 1000 series. And they're the ones that are looking at these 4000 series and aren't exactly happy. And I don't disagree. The prices have gone up. Performance has gone significantly up, don't get me wrong. Dollar to performance, NVIDIA still has a good little deal on performance, but boy, I'm really curious on how AMD is going to come out punching with this new line of graphics cards. If they can even do like close to the performance of a 4090 with their flagship, NVIDIA is going to have a hard time like justifying that price, because I have a feeling that AMD is still going to have a much cheaper price. But in the end, most people aren't going to need a 4090. Most people aren't going to need whatever the flagship AMD card is going to be either. The only reason I'm not saying what the number is because I don't really know AMD's naming schemes for graphics cards that well because I didn't really look at them when I was building this computer, because I built it for streaming. And how very little it gets used for that. I do need to name this computer. There's a couple names I could do. Well, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a like down below as well as subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some great merch. If you guys enjoyed this video, why don't you guys go check out the video I did actually talking about the same kind of subject on the A770, which I actually honestly believe a lot of people should try, and a lot of people also shouldn't. It's a little complicated. I'll get more into that in that video, so just go watch that, and it'll really help clear all that up. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and have a good day.